All right, champ. Well, it's been about a week since the fantastic performance you put on. So I'm just curious, man. Have you got a chance to decompress yet, man? I know it was an emotional one for you, and I know it looked like you had some business to tend to afterwards. So have you had a chance to get back to normal life yet?
Um, Not, I mean, it's getting there. The only normalcy I've really had is, seeing my daughter, taking her to gymnastics and taking her to jujitsu practice with at Excel Jiu Jitsu with George Santiago. That's really the only normalcy I've had. I still really haven't got a chance to sit on this amazing couch in the house and just Netflix and order Thai food. I still haven't done that yet, but besides that, I'm slowly getting there. I still haven't fully grasped what just happened. It's
Yeah.
still it's still kind of foreign to me. I feel, and that's the thing of mine. It's like, boom, I get done with it. I come here. I train today. I went in. Me and George, we rolled this morning, and I was just driving home just now, and I remember telling my girlfriend, "Oh, I got to call uh, Dr. Peacock," because I'm thinking, okay, I need to do strength and conditioning tomorrow. I need to set that up, and I'm just like, wait, whoa, bro, relax. You jumping right back into it already again.
Yeah, you gotta let yourself enjoy a little bit of time off before you start doing this. So let me ask you first about the fight, man. I think obviously it was a great fight, and I think what a lot of people took out of it was a couple of things. Number one, you got heart, right? You got tested early. You proved, hey, I can rebound, I can make adjustments. And I think the other thing people took out of it was that the striking continues to improve, right? I mean, yeah, we know you as a wrestling base, but you continue to show improved striking skills. So those were at least the two things I think a lot of people took out of it. What about you? I mean, have you gone back and reviewed it yet? Have you talked to Trevor about things? I mean, what did you feel good about, or what lessons did you take out of it?
No, I haven't been able to. I haven't talked to Trevor about it yet. We'll probably do that here in the next couple of days, and just kind of regroup. I talked to my strength and conditioning coach in Colorado already, but so we're actually starting the process. We're starting to break things down, and he kind of let me know, okay, these are the areas that I felt this and that. This is what I felt in this. This is what we can get better. This is what we can do better, and so I'm gonna do that here with Trevor in the next couple of days. But overall, in myself, I think I would still give myself a B in that performance because I let myself get caught with that shot. I know that, and I know I've said it time and time again. I know that my mind is just different than all these guys, and the ability to execute what I wanted to execute. I had to find it later on, which is the crazy thing, and I don't like that. I want it to be flawless, and I know people appreciate the fact that I got hurt. Got hit and dropped. Well, it seems like I got dropped, but people want to see that. People don't want to just see me dominate. But guess what? At the end of the day, I want to have a brain when I'm done with this. I want to be healthy. And so, yeah, by me making those mistakes didn't necessarily sit well with me. And so, yeah, I'm more critical of those. I don't even care about whether I was victorious and all of that. I just gotta be critical and correct those mistakes that I made in order to make sure that I'm continue to improve.
Here's the other thing I took out of it as well. Your emotion immediately after the fight was raw, man. I mean, obviously elation at first, right? I mean, you're super excited. You just got to finish. You got another title defense. But then I clearly saw you battling back tears, man, as you saw Gilbert on the ground, man. So I guess what I want to know is, and I think you touched on a little bit, but was this maybe a lot harder fight mentally for you than you kind of let on going in? Was this more of a test than you really kind of let any of us know?
Oh yeah, yeah, and you hit it. You hit the nail right on the head. And what made it really bad was when the fight was originally scheduled last summer. I was a wreck. I was a mess, having to train for that because it was just forced. Everything was quickly forced, and I was just it was hard. It was super hard for me to where not only did I heard about the fight, um, I was bad. It made me question myself. It made me start doubting myself to where now I had to go to my resources, the people that I trust, to basically and enforce the fact of who I am. Let me know my identity, and it hurt me. It bothered me, having to be a guy that because I take this personal. I worked so hard. I worked so hard for this to be where I am right now, and that people won't even be able to fathom. And now, someone that I train with, someone that I spent ample amount of time with, is saying that they don't really even care about that. That they want, where they want that. They want to take that away from me. That was very, very hard for me. And of course, with the team situation, now having, my former coach that I told, I had a conversation with them and I told them, I will give you guys the world champion. And I went out there and did that for them. Now having them train the person that they believe, oh yeah, that guy, you can beat him, is going to beat me. It was all a lot. It was a roller coaster of emotion, and it was very, very painful, very hurtful for me. So when that first time that the fight was scheduled, it was tough for me to deal with. But with this second go around, given an extended period of time, it made it a bit easier. It made it to where it made it easier to the point where I could detach my emotions, go in there, take care of business, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks right after the fight. And you saw that in there.
Gilbert has been nothing but respectful of you afterwards, and admitted his admiration for you. But he did say, "Hey, but I want to get back there, man. I want to get a rematch. I want a second shot." And he did say, "Hey, I missed Henry Hooft being in my corner, man. I really did." I haven't talked to Henry yet, so I don't know how he feels about it. But if he were to get back to a rematch at some point, and he asked Henry to be in his corner, I mean, would you be okay with that, or would you take that as like a personal insult?
No, absolutely. I'll be okay with that. I was okay with it this fight. I don't know why he didn't corner him. I had no problem with it. Greg Jones cornered him, you know, and you could even think that, you could even argue that with Greg Jones, it should be more of a personal thing and a connection there, because Greg Jones was a wrestler. He understands what it is to be a wrestler. He understands that, and we brought in Greg Jones. Rashad and I sat in the room with Glenn when we decided we were going to bring in Greg Jones and make him our wrestling coach. And so it was even, you could argue that, but Greg Jones had no problem with it. He stepped up and he coached them. So um, and that's up to Henry. I see, that how what he felt, but I had no issues with it. He could have coached him. It didn't change the way where I put myself mentally in order to go out there and achieve what I wanted to do.
Right. So then here's the other question I have about that. And when we'll start looking towards the future, immediately after the fight, I was surprised to hear you calling out Jorge Masvidal. I don't want to say calling out, but just saying that you're interested. So I've been thinking about it all week long. This has been the debate, right? I got two theories. One, you're a competitor and you hate the fact that he's even got, I don't want to say an excuse, but he's got a reason to say, come on, short notice. If I had a full camp, I'm going to beat him, and you don't want him to have that excuse anymore. You don't want him to have that reason. Two, it's the biggest money fight available right now, so it just makes sense. Let's call out the guy that's going to help bring the biggest paycheck. So is it one of those, or is it both of those? What was the reason for the Masvidal request?
You know me. I'm an honest guy. I'm always going to keep it 1,000% with you. Absolutely a combination of both of those. Let's be honest. The main reason is that, like, I'm in title fights now, 4-0 in title fights, and three of those, I mean, all four, to be honest, all four I've completely dominated, completely. But one of those four, there's an excuse. There's this is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. Let's be honest, the hardcore MMA fans, and you and I know that 10 times out of 10, on my worst day, that's what happened. That's the result that you're gonna get. But this guy truly, for some reason, believes. I don't know whether he's sniffing his own Kool-Aid too much, or I don't know what he's doing down there, where he's hiding at. That he truly, for some reason, he believes that he has a shot, that he can beat me. And what even kind of ticked me off, what brought this on, was after the fight, he's doing his little media talk. I think it might have been his post-fight. And I was walking by, they were taking me into medical, and I'm walking by the room, and it just so happens at the same time when I hear him, I guess the question was asked to him, and I hear him saying, um, with more preparation, I believe that I have what it takes to beat that man. That is not words that I ever want to hear out of an opponent of mine. Never. You know, that is why, like, a lot of people, I know they might be mad and say, oh, man, you went to the decision. But guess what? Every one of those guys that I went to the decision with, I guarantee you didn't want to fight me again. There's a reason, because I want to break them internally. I want to break their soul. I want to take something away from them to when my name comes up again, they're just like, fuck, no, I don't want to fight that guy again. And so when I was walking by and I heard him say that, it pissed me off to the point where I'm just like, what? How dare you? How dare you? That was not even my greatest performance. Had I went out there and the circumstances be different and I performed the way that I'm capable of performing, you wouldn't have lasted 3 rounds. I would have finished you. I would have got him out of there. And so by him not recognizing that, it pissed me off so much to where it put an even bigger chip on my shoulder. And yeah, that, you know, it was an opportunity, and it doesn't hurt the fact that if you really look at the pool of the guys that have that are right there for me to fight, he's the only one that kind of arguably makes a case for himself, you know. And it doesn't hurt that he's the most popular one out of them, you know. So it's like, you know, why not? At the end of the day, I'm a businessman as well. I'm not stupid, you know. I'm an artist, and I am sensitive about my shit, but I want to be compensated for it as well.
You are like Michael Jordan, man. I see the memes now. Like, I took it personal, man. You take these things personal, but it makes you want to crush somebody.
It does. And you know, speaking of that, going back to my fight, it's and I know with Gilbert, like I said, that yeah, me and Gilbert, we have no problems. We're okay. But when all was being said and this fight was booked and all of that things, you know, he was trolling me. Not just him, you know, some of the guys, you know, the staff, some people, I'm not gonna mention names, they were trolling me. People that know me were trolling me. And this didn't sit well with me. I'm that type of guy that if you have to fight, you can't say anything to give me any extra motivation. I'm already a motivated individual, but you give me any extra motivation, I'm a dangerous fucking guy. And these guys they were trolling me. They were posting pictures. They were posting old training footages, training pictures. And it just grew and grew and grew, that chip that was on my shoulder, to the point where I had to take it out. Fight week, you saw that. My whole demeanor was different. And I had to take it out on him.
So, speaking of trolling, and I don't know, I don't know if we can break some news here. If not, maybe we can just speak hypothetically. I know you had big meetings with Dana White and even Lorenzo. You're rolling with the VIPs, but it looks like everything is lining up for you and Masvidal to have this rematch, and it looks like maybe potentially as the coaches of the Ultimate Fighter, which I think would make some great television. So I don't know if we can break news or if we can speak hypothetically, but if that all comes to fruition, are you worried? I mean, I could see Masvidal trolling you daily for 6 weeks of taping or whatever it may be, and you know, trying to get under your skin the whole time. Is that something that you want to deal with, to have to let that emotion fester up inside of you, or would it not be better to not have to deal with any of that?
No, as a competitor, obviously not. I don't want to deal with any of that, because I mean, I'm a simple guy, fairly. You know, I just want to be in my house on my couch. I don't want to deal with any of that other stuff. But this is part of the job. You know, this is part of my goal of this year. Is the big things that I need to do. I want to do them. I want to do it this year, and this is just a stepping stone towards that. And he can't troll me. I don't give a shit about that guy. What could he possibly say? That's the thing now. What could you possibly say about me? What? What could he say? How could he troll me? What, you can't fight? Wrong. I can fight, because I have this big shiny thing up here that said that I can fight. You know, you can't beat me. Wrong. I beat your ass from start to finish. Can't say that. What else? What else do they say? Oh, your hair. You have no hair. Guess what? I shaved it all. Bald now. What these dudes gonna say about me? You can't say nothing. John, tell them they can't say nothing. He can't control nothing. It's me. I'm gonna be there and with my coaching staff. And when my coaching staff is there, they gonna know. They better keep their mouth shut because at any given moment we would set it off in the
So are we speaking hypothetically, or is that breaking
hyper.
news?
No, it's not breaking news. Nothing's been confirmed yet. You
Right.
asked me if we were in that situation, John. You asked me if we were in that situation. So if we
Fair.
were
Yeah,
in that situation, you see how
it
you
was
got me fired up? You got
completely
me fired up.
hypothetical, man.
Hypothetically, if that was to happen, that's how it would go down. It
I
is what
love
it
it.
is. I'm just watching things come together for me, and I put in so much time, and I love it. If it does come to fruition, I would love to do it. If it doesn't, it is what it is. I would love to beat him up
Yeah.
anyways.
I love it. Fans are going to be too. Let me ask you. I got to ask you about Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. Kind of a surprise fight. Like we weren't
I
expecting
just
to
heard
see
about
that.
that.
Yeah. So what did you think when you heard this come together? I mean, I'm sure you're happy for Bilal, making his way up the ranks. But are you looking at this as a number one contender fight? I mean, I know you mentioned, hey, you got respect for Leon and what he's gone through and everything he's had to deal with. Bilal might be a little early in his career, but this would be a huge statement for him. But I don't know. What do you think? Does this fight excite you? And are you keeping an eye on this to kind of think what could come next? After this hypothetical matchup that may or may not happen.
Um, I haven't really had a ton of time to think about it because I just found out about it. I've been kind of really off social media, so I might post and I get off. I don't really get to. It's crazy. It's built for you to get news, but I don't really get news out of that because I'm not on it that much. But it's a good fight. It's an intriguing fight. I'm happy for both guys. I think it might be kind of early for Bilal because he just fought, and I think he might have said he sustained some injuries to his legs or something like that. But so I think it's a little early, but hopefully he has time to get the swelling out of his legs and recover. But I think it's a good fight for Bilal. It's a good stylistic matchup. Bilal Muhammad is a problem. He's not easy. He's a tough fight to deal with because he mixes it up so well. Um, Obviously, you would think Leon Edwards has the upper hand in that fight, but I don't know. I think it's a winnable fight for Bilal as well, and great for Leon Edwards. Now you finally get an opponent. You get someone to actually fill that void where you can fight again and remind the people how good you are. As far as it being a number one contender fight, I don't think so. I think you know depending on how it goes, like Bilal Muhammad wins, I think he still has a few. I mean, you got Gilbert, you've got Masvidal, you've got Colby Covington, up there. So, he still kind of has, a couple of guys that I think he would want to fight in order to get that shot. But if Leon Edwards is able to win that, then he puts himself on that short list. It doesn't really do much for him except remind the fans who he is because he hasn't been able to compete for about 2 years. But I think he wins that fight. He reminds the fans, and hey, who knows? After I dispose of whoever it is that I fight next, if that Masvidal does come to fruition, he might get the shot, or he might have to fight, Covington or even Gilbert or one of these guys. So you never know.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the last name I wanted to ask you about because the fight we thought we were going to see was Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards, and that to me seemed like the right number one contender fight. I mean, I think everybody thought it was, and it seems like Colby said, I don't think I need to take that fight. I think I've done enough. I already rebounded. I've put myself in a position. Obviously, he did give you a great fight. You guys have history together. What do you think? I mean, I know it's the UFC, the one that ultimately makes the call, but for you as a champion, do you feel like, yes, Colby has done enough, I don't need to see him win again for him to get another shot at me? Or do you feel like he made a mistake here and does need to fight one more time before he fights you again?
I think he made a huge mistake, tremendous mistake, because one, who turns down a paycheck? He turned down a paycheck. That's horrible. You can't do that. I mean, maybe he's not hurting for money, but you can't turn down a paycheck. And on top of it, you turn down a chance for you to really remind the fans. I mean, I understand, you got to win, but that's one win in how long? And Woodley, you know, Woodley's coming off of what was it, a 2-fight, 3-fight skid? So it's a tough one to say to basically say, hey, oh, you got one win. All right, you're back in. For a guy that's coming off a 2 or 3 fight skid, that was a tough one. So for you to sit here and demand, oh, yeah, I've done enough. I demand this shot. First of all, you weren't their favorite in the first place. You're not. And so you can't sit here and it's not necessarily that you're selling mad pay-per-views. You don't really do that as well. So for you to sit here and demand something like that, I think it's ridiculous. I think the best way for you to solidify your title shot is to go out there and fight. And what better way than to knock off who is the number 3 guy? He's on his way up. He's making the claim to the throne that he deserves that shot. What better way than to knock him off? He failed to do that, and I think he made a tremendous mistake in that.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, man. A bunch of big names up there all gunning for you. A couple last ones for you, and I appreciate your time as always. You know, with this win, obviously, the name George St. Pierre started coming up. The comparisons to where you stand. Are you the greatest welterweight of all time, or are you on your way to being the greatest welterweight of all time? I'm just curious. Do you welcome that? I mean, comparison, I think it's always so tough, you know, when somebody gets compared to GSP or somebody gets compared to Anderson Silva, or, you know, when you get compared to the all-time greats, it's tough, right? I mean, those guys did amazing things in their career, but I know also as a competitor, you want to be known as one of the greats. So what do you think? Do you welcome these comparisons to George St. Pierre, or do you feel like maybe people should tap the brakes a little bit and just let you be you?
No, that's what their job. That's what they're designed to do. People are supposed to do that. They're supposed to. You gotta. That's me going out there and performing. I'm giving them something to talk about. So this is part of what they need to talk about, is whether I am amongst the greatest or not. You know, that's like I've said time and time again. That's not something that I'm going to say to myself. I'm not. That's absolutely what I'm not going to do that while I'm performing. I'm going to let my work speak for itself. So by the time I'm said and done, everyone's got to look at my body of work and say, holy shit, this guy didn't only run through the division, he did a circle back. He ran through the division twice over. And so, you know, I let them do that. Right now, I don't even think about it. People say it, I hear it, but it is what it is. I'm in one ear, out the other. I'm going to stay focused on the task at hand. And that is taking it one fight at a time, looking as impressive as possible, and let the people decide.
Well, I think the focus now should be getting on the couch and ordering some Thai food and taking your
Trying.
girl to
I'm
so,
trying, but I had to go. I trained today. I've been in this house for about 2 days, and I'm like, you know what? Call George. Hey, George, I need to train. And he's like, come in the morning. And I went in and I rolled this morning. And I'll probably set up a strength and conditioning session tomorrow, too.
take some time off, man. Take some time off. You got to rest. You got to rest.
You know, John, it's a funny thing about that is just the same way that my mind works when I compete. It's the fear of losing is, for me, is greater than the thrill of winning. And so with that being said, it's the same way as practicing. The fear of having to get back in shape is so great for me. That pain is so tremendous for me that scares me so much to where I'm like, you know what? I'll just not get out of shape. I'll always stay within striking distance. I can't let that happen, because it's a process getting back in shape, and any fighter could attest to that.
That's why you're a UFC champion. I'm a journalist. I have such a fear of getting in shape. I just say, "Oh, to hell with it. I'm not gonna give me another beer." All right, well, listen.
I'm gonna join you soon.
All right, I'll let you go on this one, man. I mean, obviously, a lot of options on the table. We see the one it looks like it might be, but we don't know yet. But ideally, you got a date circled on the calendar. Is there a a date in mind when we're seeing you compete again, one way or the other?
Honestly, no. I think I would say give me a month, but besides that, I'm ready to go at any time. Thankfully, I didn't sustain any serious injuries. I think I only have one MRI to get through, hopefully this week, and I'll know better. But I don't think I sustained any serious injuries, so I should be able to go fairly soon if that works with the UFC. But yeah, I just like I said, 2020. This is a year that I want to be a big year. I want to do some big things this year, and I'm on the track. I'm on track to do that.